Hey guys, have you noticed the neighborhoods that have been popping up and really appreciating lately? Like in South Philly, where some houses are $200,000 to $300,000, and then of course there's Northern Liberties, and that's been really hot, as well as Fishtown, and then you even have parts of Kensington that are starting to pop up, and West Philly. So you got all of these different areas where houses used to be about $30,000, and now they're going for two to three to maybe even $400,000. Isn't that crazy? And then you always say, man, if only I knew, and only if I bought then, and this and that, right? This is this whole crystal ball thing. Well, here's one thing. A lot of times, the people who have properties in those areas had no idea that the area was going to turn out that way. They just so happened to have bought it, run their numbers as a buy and hold, and then the area is appreciated, and they got to benefit from that appreciation. But why were they able to benefit ultimately is because they bought something. And a lot of times people don't invest because they're scared. But what are they afraid of? They're afraid of the unknown. And what is that unknown? It's the numbers. They're afraid that they won't be able to keep up with payments. They're afraid that they won't be able to manage the property. They're afraid that the toilet's gonna break. They're afraid of all of these different things. My solution to all of that is to run your numbers. So a lot of times in really bad neighborhoods, they have what's called a cap rate that's really high, meaning your return on your essentially it's your return on investment. And in sketchier neighborhoods, the return on investment is much higher because let's say, for example, a house that you can buy for $30,000, you can maybe rent it out for $800. A house that you buy for $200,000, you can rent out for, let's go high. Let's say you can rent that out for $1,600. Well, you got double the rent, but you're paying way more than double in price, right? You go $30,000 to $200,000, but you only go from 800 to 1,600. So the rate of return on your investment is way higher for the property that's in one of those bad neighborhoods. Now, when you have to calculate the mortgage costs on something like $30,000, it's very little compared to the 800, and then you have your expenses and everything else. And when you subtract everything, you still have the cash flow. And if you can use that cash flow to survive for a few years, then you might be able to experience appreciation as well. But if you never buy anything, you're always going to sit on the sideline and say, wow, what if I bought that property in that area 10 years ago? Well, you can. There's still a lot of areas that are pretty scary, but those are the areas that have the most potential for appreciation because they're so low right now that they can only go up. But again, just do your numbers and know that if things go bad, that you might be able to handle it because there's cash flow is high enough. But again, always do your numbers so that you know. And then in 10 years, instead of sitting on a sideline and saying, man, if only I had bought then, you can be like, man, I bought 10 of them then. And look at me now. All right, guys. Hope this video helps. I'll see you in the next one.